So we open up in this episode with basically, in my opinion, the show trying to cover their tracks. Because here's what's happening. Allegedly, the cameraman is allegedly suing the show. Or at this point, I believe has allegedly settled, right? So the show is now trying to protect itself. The show and the network, to be quite honest with you, is allegedly protecting themselves because they want to make it clear that their talent, which is NeNe, was in the wrong. So now you have all these confessionals from the cast who have a very strong point of view. And their point of view is NeNe was wrong. She should have never touched the cameraman. You cannot put your hands on production. So now the show and the network has essentially sided with the cameraman against NeNe. Rightfully so. You have to, because it's so many insurance violations and so many lawsuits that allegedly and can come out of this. So they got to protect their own interests, and the show is their own interest. So the show and the network is saying, we do not support NeNe's behavior. Smart, and it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So this is obviously why NeNe was so mad and was going off on Instagram Live or whatever. But to be quite honest with you, I feel like at a certain age, you don't need to be fighting on Twitter. You don't need to be fighting like on social media, period. You know what I mean? Because it's just so messy and you let the whole world in, and it just seems like it's something for immature people. And when you're in your 50s and you're fighting with people, you're unfollowing people, you're addressing people on Instagram Live, and I don't want to see that. If you're not 18, what you doing? What you doing? Can we be real? In my opinion, NeNe is violent. NeNe is violent. She has come at a few cast members. She has allegedly put her hand on a few people in production. It's just, she's not a safe choice. And I think that maybe with her missing a couple checks, maybe this will humble her a bit, and she'll come back next season, or the next season they invite her back differently. Because I only say that because in her live, she shows no remorse. No remorse for putting her hands on that man. Like, I get you being mad at them girls because you knew, and they knew, that if they were in there, the cameras were going to follow. So she's probably feeling like she's set up. Totally understand. But you still have yet to acknowledge the fact that what you did to that man was wrong. Like, you should not have put your hands on a cameraman. You don't put your hands on production. You don't put your hands on your cast members. She's a liability. She's a liability that they have paid a lot of money for, and they have essentially created a monster because she feels like she's untouchable. I don't know if she's untouchable anymore because she's funny, right? She's good TV. She built this show. She made it. She made it. Vicki Gunvalson built the OC. NeNe built Atlanta. At the time, Jill Zarin built New York. Now Bethany is taking it over. Lisa Vanderpump built Beverly Hills. Now Teddy trying to get that crown. What's another one? Potomac, the Grand Dame, built that. So we know who the queen pin of each show is, right? We know who they are, and we know that they have certain leverage that other cast members don't. We know they get a bigger check, but at some point, they start feeling themselves, and that is when they get cut. Jill Zarin started feeling herself. She got cut. Vicki, however, will never miss a check. She let them new broads read her for filth. She cries, she breaks down, and she's back every season because she knows it's a show and she knows she has a job to do. NeNe, unfortunately, is feeling herself and she feels invincible. And it's sad, but yeah, she might get cut. She might get cut. Damn. Everybody getting humbled in 2019. I swear. Rich people are getting a rude awakening. Now let's talk about petty NeNe. I think another reason why she went on live was because she wanted to turn the fans on production, because she kept on mentioning in her live how wrong production was, that she told them what to do, she told them what not to do, and they still did that. They still tried to get at her even when she was suffering while her husband was really sick. She's essentially creating a narrative against production because production and the network is doing the same thing with her. So she's just like, no, don't get rid of me, get rid of them, because I told them not to do that and they did it anyway. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind them getting rid of production. Y'all know I say it every review, just because, and I kind of wish I would not have known. I know some stuff about the show. They have strategically cut out a lot because they're friends with these women and they don't want them to, you know, the truth of their lives to be exposed. And I get that. You want to protect your friend, but then don't do a TV show about your lives. You know what I mean? And don't expect people to tune in for these cookie cutter edits, because we know that's not the truth, because we watch the show and then all this other stuff comes out in the news and we're just like, well, we would have probably have liked to have seen that, but instead we're getting this dry season. So listen, if they get rid of production and they keep NeNe, fine, but NeNe is going to have to accept the pay cut and she's going to have to work with the new production team. If not, she's out. She's out. That's just show business. This is essentially a filler episode because there's a lot of buildup that's going to happen at Eva's wedding and after, right? So we're getting like all of these buildup scenes up to the wedding. And so we have this scene where Eva's trying on her wedding dress after she had a breakdown a few episodes ago. And the wedding dress looks beautiful. Fits her perfectly. That's not why I'm talking about it. I want to talk about this bridesmaid's dress. Like eggplant? What? Who in the hell wants to wear an eggplant dress? Especially when you chocolate. That don't go. A lavender. Oh, lavender looks good on chocolate skin. But like shiny, cheap silk eggplant? Or satin. Was it satin? Satin. That cheap Amazon satin. That looked terrible. And then this cheap Claire's belt. I ain't gonna say cheap because it probably was a lot. You know, the dress and the belt was probably a lot. It just read really cheap on screen. I'm telling you, you gotta be careful with these HD cameras. They will either make you look busted and broke or gorgeous and gagging. You gotta pick one. You have to be careful about what you do. I always say, if you're gonna go on reality TV, before you shoot a scene, test, get an HD camera and test what you look like with the makeup, with the hair, with the outfits that you will wear. Yes, it's tedious, but it makes a difference because this bridesmaid's dress, horrid, horrid. And then the neck. What the hell was this Star Trek neck doing? And then she gonna tell that lie. Oh, you're such a good bride. You actually gave me a bridesmaid's dress that I really want to wear. We look so great. Sis, you are never, ever wearing that unless it's Halloween. Unless it's Halloween or you're doing Star Trek cosplay, you are never wearing that dress. Okay, so now let's talk about the sex dungeon. Listen, Kandi, I told you before, she always gonna get a coin. Mother is smart. This is a businesswoman. Forbes, this is who you need to be profiling. This is self-made. So anyway, Kandi's having this sex dungeon party. We're looking at the beginnings of it and we're seeing it all come together because this is the night, right? I think it was 2 nights. I'm not sure, but I think it went on about a few days. Anyway, I do want to say this. As soon as Kandi announced it, she sold out all of her dates in a matter of 2 days. And I know we're used to, oh, selling out a show in a minute or, you know, like doing Beyonce numbers, right? However, nobody knew what the sex dungeon was. Like, there was no information about what it was. It was pretty much a mystery because it was just something that Kandi came up with on the fly. And as she was selling tickets, she was still figuring it out. As they were getting closer to the date, the show was still being figured out. Acts were still being added. So it was really a mystery. Nobody knew what they were coming to, but they bought tickets anyway. That is power. That is celebrity buying power, and Kandi has it. She's so smart, guys. So smart. She played dumb. But oh, that girl is smart. And did she just pray to the Lord Jesus Christ to bless this sex dungeon? You know what? What in the disrespectful blasphemy? You have got to respect the Lord. Not everything has to have his blessing. You know what I mean? If you know you're about to do some mess, don't go to God about it first. Please, just leave him out. Just leave him out. Give him a warning. Just be like, you know what, God? For about 2.5 hours, I'm going to be a freaky mess. Don't look. Don't look. You know what? You Southern people are different. Different. Y'all pray about everything, even the mess. Can we talk about how none of us wants to accept the fact that Kandi is a freak? I think it's because she just looks like and speaks like and just carries herself like a really good, innocent girl. And not innocent in a way where haven't been touched, but just like naive. You know, it's just like, oh, she wouldn't know about that. But Kandi is so well-versed. She's so experienced. She's such a freak. When she is sitting down there in between Cynthia's legs, acting like she's eating her coochie, are you wet? And all of this stuff, I was like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I was Marlo. I was like, I'm uncomfortable. This is too much for me. Kandi is a freak, guys. She keeps on telling us, and we just don't want to accept it. We're always shocked when she does this stuff. But this is who she is. We have to accept it. Kandi from Escape is a grade A freak. She didn't come to this sex dungeon for 2 reasons. One, she didn't want to be the butt of the joke. She is the reason why this sex dungeon was created. She also probably doesn't want to go back into a past that her and Kandi have healed. But could you imagine her sitting there, like watching the sex dungeon and all the people making jokes about her being there, right? Also, let me tell you something. Portia may have strayed away from the church, but that girl is still saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and fire baptized. She like me. We grew up in the church and we know the spirits are transferable. That baby did not want all that perversion around her seed. I know what you was doing, Portia. I know. And can we also talk about how Cynthia is in her confessional like, oh my goodness, Kandi is doing all of this stuff to me. And oh my God. Cynthia, you've been wanting Kandi to eat your coochie since y'all was what, in Paris? She was trying to take Kandi down then. Like, girl, stop acting like, oh my goodness, I would never. She probably ate your coochie that night. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Let's talk about Marlo coming for Shamari out of nowhere. And I do think that Shamari really had lost her voice. I don't think she was playing it or anything like that. Shamari can sing, Shamari can perform. I think this would have been a great opportunity for her to show her talent. I don't think that she got to the end and she choked and she didn't want to sing. I think she really had laryngitis or whatever it was. I also think that Marlo was jealous because she wasn't asked to be a part of the show. She felt some sort of way and she was sitting there watching, and I'm uncomfortable, like complaining about it, because I feel like she wanted to be a part of it. And because Kandi didn't ask her, she's going to do whatever she can to come at it, and trash the performers, because there was no reason for her to come at Shamari. There was also no reason for her to snap at Tanya, who was playing with her. You pushed me down again on this dirty floor. I'm going to smack you and all this stuff. She was feeling some sort of way because she felt slighted. She wanted to be a part of something and she wasn't a part of it. Marlo does this all the time. When the main cast members do things together, she feels a certain way because she does not like being a friend of the show. Well, if you stop making demands and fumbling the bag, you will have a peach. Stay woke, sis. So she was coming at the two people who I think that she believed is the weakest on the show, and it just didn't pan out well for her because she looked like a plumb fool. She really, really did. Then saying that Shamari has a drinking problem. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Marlo? Every time you have a freaking wine cooler, you are ready to commit assault and battery. Every time. I'm surprised the editors didn't show multiple times where Nene is taking a drink out of your hand because you're ready to throw blows with somebody because you didn't sip 2 Heinekens. Girl, what? Okay, that's where the episode ends. This was pretty much a filler episode, but I think it gave me a little bit of something. I'm interested to see the wedding. I'm interested to see the ladies getting together, and I'm hoping it gets to be a bit more fun and that it gets his vibe back. I feel like this show has lost its vibe. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think it's a, part production, part cast. There's a lot of things that they are just not bringing to the table. And we're suffering because of it. Because this was a really great show. And I don't know what happened. I like what I saw tonight, and I will see you guys next week. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next week for the following episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Love you guys. Bye.